हेलो एवरीवन, दिस इज़ प्रतीक्षा। आई वेलकम यू टू माय चैनल। आज के वीडियो में हम देखेंगे हाउ टू रिवर्स स्ट्रिंग विदाउट यूजिंग स्लाइसिंग एंड विद यूजिंग स्लाइसिंग। सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड। बिफोर मूविंग फर्दर विल सी व्हाट इज़ अ वेरिएबल, व्हाट इज स्ट्रिंग एंड व्हाट इज़ फॉर लूप, बिकॉज हम ये हमारे प्रोग्राम में यूज़ करेंगे। सो वेरिएबल आर द नेम दैट यूज टू स्टोर द वैल्यूज and it refer the memory locations for that values, and no need to declare explicit data type, which means we don't need to declare any data type for that variable like Java, C++. Suppose we have an example like a variable and we want some string here. We can directly put that string. We don't need to provide any explicit data type like integer like these. We do this in a Java and C++. We don't need to do it here. Now we can store any values that required for our program. So हम यहाँ कुछ भी नेम ले सकते हैं वेरिएबल का जो हमें अकॉर्डिंग टू आवर प्रॉब्लम, but make sure your variable name would be understandable for you. So here we'll take one list that we required. So here I take a list which containing integer value. So we can store any value over here according to our requirement for our program. That's called the variable. Now let's move towards the next concept, which is string. So string is a Python sequence data type which is stored in single, double and triple quote. Like this we can store the string like Python in single quote, double quote and triple quotes, which is sequence data type. And one of the most important property of the string, which is it is a immutable data type, which means we cannot perform operation directly on the string once it will get created. इसका हम example के Python, we take one string which is Python. Now let's understand the index of first letter P using indexing, because indexing start from 0. So we'll get P. अगर हमें इंस्टेड ऑफ दिस P हमें यहाँ पे T चाहिए, सो अगर हम ऐसा वी स्टोर इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट P हमें यहाँ पे T चाहिए, तो वी can't store like this instead of we won't get output, we'll get a error because string object does not support item assignments. So इसलिए हमारे string is a immutable data type है. So now let's move towards another concept, which is for loop. So for loop, iterating over the sequence will be list, string, tuple, dictionary or the other iterable object. So syntax for that for loop, for I in the sequence like we seen here, list, string, tuple, dictionary, anything, and this I called the variable, which means we can take any name like for the variable, like we can take number, character, and we in the for loop we start our code from here, like code to be executed for the each item in the sequence. The for the sequence, which means हमारा for loop सीक्वेंस के ईच आइटम पे ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म करेगा. सो लाइक वी हैव स्ट्रिंग विच इज डाटा साइंस, सो व्हेन वी असाइन दैट इन द फॉर लूप, सो आई initially iterating over the D, then A, then T and so on. So now let's move to our main concept, which is reverse string without using slicing. So इसके लिए हमारे यहाँ हमें दो string की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी. Initially we'll store our first string on which we have to perform operation which we want to reverse it, and one more string which is required. We take a reverse string as a variable name and we let it empty because we have to store our result string over here. So now we'll apply our for loop. So for I in our first string, which is string variable, for I in string, हमें हमारा रिजल्ट इस रिवर्स स्ट्रिंग में स्टोर करना है. सो विल परफॉर्म ऑपरेशन ऑन दैट reverse string and we will add our I which is iterating over the each character over here. So I iterating each character of this first string. So we'll add I plus our reverse string which is empty, where we have to store our result. Now let's see how our for loop will get work. So print reverse string. Okay, let's have a look. Initially I iterating over this first character which is p plus, initially our reverse string is empty, so p plus reverse string which is p. Then again I iterating over the next character which is y plus p which is yp. Again it's iterating over the next character which is tip, and so on. The for loop work like this. So now just we want our reverse string, so here we are. Now we'll move towards the next thing which is reverse string with using slicing. So before that, let's have a quick review on what is slicing, what is indexing. So indexing nothing but the accessing the character from that string by using the numeric value. So Python indexing start with 0 and end -1, which is length -1, because our length start from 1. Now let's move to what is slicing. For example, how it work, how indexing and length. Let's have an example. Suppose we have one string, we store string equal to Python. अगर हमें यहाँ पे इंडेक्स असाइन करना है, सो इट विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम 0. सो फॉर द फर्स्ट लेटर ये 0 असाइन करेगा इंडेक्स. देन फॉर द सेकेंड लेटर 1 2 देन 3 4 5. ये इट्स कॉल्ड इंडेक्सिंग. And if you want to assign the length, we want to know the length of each character. Then initially, because our length start from 1, so if p के लिए 1 2, y के लिए 2 3 4 5 6 length assign करेगा. So this is a length. That's why our indexing start from 0 and end -1, which is length -1. So now see what is slicing. So slicing, which is nothing but accessing the string or accessing the substring or the portion of the string by using start and end index of that string. That's called slicing. So we'll have a syntax for the slicing. Suppose we have string variable, name is string 1, and we want perform operation, like we want access some portion of that string. Then we'll use the start index, which is included, and our end index, which is excluded, and step. And step, which means how many steps that we want from the start index and the end index. So this is called string slicing, and this is called string positive slicing. Now we'll see. Okay, we'll see what is negative slicing. Before that, we'll see what is negative indexing. So negative indexing start from end, which is backward direction, to forward direction. Suppose we have string equal to, take it again, Python So it assign -1 indexing for last letter. Now we'll see negative slicing. So before that, we'll just have a look on what is negative indexing. So negative indexing start from end index to first, and which is from backward direction to forward direction. So it will assign -1 for the N, then -2 for the O, then -3 for H, like that. Now we'll see what is a string negative slicing. In the negative slicing, we have a syntax like end, which is included, end index include, and our start index exclude, and step, which means how many steps that we want from end to start index. Steps. Suppose we have an example for the negative slicing, like string I'm data scientist, because when we okay, we have string which is I'm a data scientist, एंड अगर मुझे डाटा साइंटिस्ट इतना ही पर्सन चाहिए यूजिंग नेगेटिव स्लाइसिंग, then I'll assign the negative index and make sure our end index always lesser than our start index in the negative slicing. So now we'll count from the -1, -2, -3, -4, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, 11, 12, 30, 40 and -15, which is -15. And as we seen here, our end index will get included in the negative slicing. So -15, then we'll have a colon. After that, start index, our start index that excluded, so we don't have a character here after that, so we'll take it, we let it them, and now we'll see what we'll get. We get a data scientist because it count space also. Now see one more example how our start index is lesser than index in the negative slicing. So here string equal to, I'm taking string as a variable name Python. Now we have a string, I just want some letter, which is I just want YTH. So count from here, -1, -2, -3, -4, -6. So sorry, -5. So now I just want YTH letter. So now count from, because here negative is, we are doing negative slicing, we start from -1, which is last index, -1, -2, -3, -4 and -5. So as we see, our end index included, which is -5, and I want YTH, so I have to give -2 index because start index will get excluded, and our H is on -3, which is minus the index which is -3, so we'll use -2, will get excluded. We'll see how we'll get YTH. We'll get a YTH. Using slicing. So we have, suppose we have string equal to string 1 equal to Python. I want to reverse, so string 1 we'll use a slicing here. I want whole string, so I'll put whole start and index will empty, and -1 because as we seen, our start index from in the negative indexing, our start index start from -1, which is backward direction, to forward direction. So we'll give a step size which is -1. Now we get our final string, which is this one. So that's it for this video. I taught you to best of my expertise, and I hope I made you understand how to reverse string without using slicing and with using slicing. If you have any query regarding to this, then do let me know in the comment section. And if you have any other idea to solve this problem, so you can share with me. So I'll show you in the next video with your name. Because when we solve the same problem with a different logic or the approaches, it will help us to think more or creative regarding to that. Because when we solve the same problem with the different approaches or the logic, it encourages us to think creatively and consider alternative solutions. I'm thankful for it. That's it. Bye bye. Stay tuned. We'll meet in the next video.